Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be talking about electric vehicles. And guys, you might be knowing that I actually own a Nexon EV Max, which I had actually purchased about 1.5 years ago, and I've driven it close to about slightly over 17,500 kilometers till now. And I keep tweeting about the EVs and stuff like this. And actually the Tata Motors team actually approached me and they told me, Ranjit, you keep tweeting about EVs, so why don't you make a FAQ video on this one and explain your experience and some of the things that people ask. So I told why not. And again guys, this is a collaboration made by Tata Motors, but I have to say that they did not interfere anything in my work. The only thing they told me is that if you don't know any details about some technical question or something that is asked, please come back to us and we will give you the correct information. So just wanted to make it very, very clear. And guys, this video can go a little bit big because there were a variety of questions that came. So I've divided it into various, chapters. The list is here. For example, EVs are expensive, the range, the charge cycles, etc. A lot of questions. So I've divided it between chapters so that you can easily jump between them. So let's get on with the same. And the first question that I've got from quite a few of you, and even Adrian, says that is it still believed that the overall cost of EV is still higher than an ICE-based vehicle? Your take on this? And yes, this is the general conception that people have. In fact, I'll give you my personal example. I would say prior to this Nexon EV Max, I still had again two vehicles. One was my BMW and the other was my older Tata Tiago, that is the petrol one, that I had purchased almost about 6.5 years ago. So I was driving that, but recently my driving increased quite a bit, and I was looking towards the EV, and that's the reason that I went for that. And again, it was not only the environmental impact, because I have solar, I could charge it with green energy. I'll talk about that later. But again, cost was also an issue. Even with my Nexon, the Tiago EV, the petrol cost was becoming considerable. I would say I was filling about 9,000-10,000 rupees of petrol every month. And in fact, BMW I was also driving in. Let's not even talk about the fuel consumption of that car. So definitely when I moved to this Tata Nexon EV, there was a considerable cost savings every month for me personally in that petrol fuel, I would say. So again, in the long run, I calculated that based on my usage, and generally I don't change cars now. That Tiago, that we have, the Tiago petrol, I have actually given it to my father. It will be almost about 8 years since we have purchased, because my dad actually had a very old car, Beat. Again, it was almost 14 years old and it was giving issues. We generally don't upgrade our cars very, very often. So again, I calculated the cost and the amount of savings that I will be doing every year with the EV would work out to be a lot cheaper. For example, I was also looking at the Nexon regular petrol. Again, the EV what I bought, the Max, is the top end variant, and the top end of the Nexon petrol, when I was looking at with all the features like ventilated seat, etc., the price difference was just around about 3 lakhs. So again, I jumped, and again now it's been 1.5 years and I've already saved, I would say, based on the driving I would have done with my Tiago and my BMW combination, I have already saved more than 1.6. It would have ranged between 1.6 to 2 lakhs of saving based on the servicing cost and the fuel cost. So yes, initially you would see that the cost of the EVs will be slightly higher, but if you look at the overall picture, maybe you're keeping the car for 8 or 10 years, then the cost of the EV running cost is just, and you get those savings that you will immediately notice. Okay, this is again an off-topic question, but quite a few of you have asked me, so I'll take this. This is by Ashwath. He is asking, we generally don't turn on the AC on an ICE car when it's ideal, as it would drain the battery or it will actually consume a lot of fuel. Is that there a similar concern for EV, or we can run the AC for as long as the battery charge is present? Yes, on an EV that's a big advantage. You can just switch on the AC because again the battery pack is so big, and if you even use the AC, it does not consume that much. In fact, I do that often now. For example, if I have to take my wife to shopping, etc., I generally hate shopping these days. I just don't even go inside the shop. I tell her to finish her shopping and come back. I just switch on the AC and continue to do my work. So yes, you can definitely do that with an EV. That's a big advantage, I would say. Next thing, I've got this question quite a bit, and in fact, to be very precise, I would say I also had this concern a lot before actually purchasing my EV, because this Nexon EV Max was my first EV. That is about range anxiety, and in fact I also had a lot of anxiety about it. For example, Newell is asking, is range anxiety a thing throughout the time you own an EV, and plus can you take it to longer routes, well, like 200 or 300 kilometers? We'll talk about the long routes later on, but yeah, quite a few of you have asked me about range anxiety, and yes, this is there. Initially, before buying the car, I actually had this. I have the Nexon EV Max. That's generally the long range. Now the Nexon EV LR has almost the same battery. It's a 40.5 kilowatt battery, and this, I would say, in my driving that is slightly highway. I'm slightly outskirts of the city, and in the city it is giving me about 275 to 285 kilometers of range. Initially, before buying the car, actually I had a lot of range anxiety. Where will I charge it? How will I charge it? And stuff like that. But to be very frank, within a month of usage of the EV, all that range anxiety is gone. In fact, this Nexon EV, what I had purchased, was my replacement to the Tiago, which we use within the city. And to be very frank, the maximum amount of kilometers in a particular day that I've traveled till date, that is from the time we have got this Nexon EV Max, was maximum of about 165 kilometers in the city, and the car had ample charge left. I was tired, I would say. So the range anxiety, I would say it's a thing that is there before you buy it, but be very realistic. I would say, how much will you drive your car per day? In fact, I would say now I realize that I could have actually gone with the regular Nexon EV, not even the Max, because even the regular one gives a range of about 200 to 210 kilometers, and I've noticed that in the city I hardly can drive over 150 or 160 kilometers. You just get so much tired. So again, yes, that range anxiety, initially I was having it, but it's no longer an issue, I would say, that I have. In fact, there are a lot of public charges also, and in fact that have come up. I'll talk about that later, because got quite a few of questions about that. So now I simply do not have the range anxiety, and now I've driven the car so much, so I can just look at the battery percentage, what is there, and I know this car will run so much. You just do a mental maths, and of course it's also shows you the range in the Odo. Anyways, moving to next thing is many of you have asked about the charging time that this one takes, and again, there are two aspects to it. By default, you get actually a AC charger with this one. It's a 3.2 kilowatt charger, and also you can opt for a higher, AC charger. That's a 7.2 kilowatt charger. So in fact, I have both the chargers, the 3.2 kilowatt charger that you get with every Tata EV if you buy it, but I had also opted for the slightly faster 7.2 kilowatt charger. But again, guys, these are AC chargers. Don't confuse them with the DC fast charging. Okay, first let's talk about the AC charging that you'll do in your house. So if you're using the regular slow charger, that's the 3.2 kilowatt charger, this Nexon EV Max, they say it will take about 15 odd hours to fully charge from 0 to 100%. But let's be very realistic. You never actually take down the battery to 0%. Maybe it's at like about 15%, 18%, then you put it on charge. So yes, I would say roughly if you're using the slow charger, then it will take about 12 hours, I would say 13 hours to charge it fully to 100%. But I mostly actually use the 7.2 kilowatt charger, which I've installed in my garage. As you can see, this is the photograph, and this is considerably faster, I would say. This, I would say, can charge within about 5.5 hours from that typical 10% or something. I've read stats that if it's from 0 to 100, this is about 6 odd hours. But again, you never drain it down to 0. So again, I'm doing all my charging at the home itself, and with this 7.2 kilowatt charger, I simply don't have any issues with it. In fact, I calculated within an hour, at least for my Nexon EV Max, it charges about 16.5 percentage or something like that in 1 hour with that 7.2 kilowatt charger. Okay, some of you have even asked me this: how much has the range, for example, Anshul is asking, how much is the range dip from the time you bought and now that you have driven close to about 18,000 kilometers? The frank answer is I haven't seen any range dippage till now. It's the same range that I was getting earlier also, between about 275 to 285. It can go also up to 290. Again, it depends on how you are driving. I have even achieved a range of 330 kilometers. I decided that I will not go above 70 kilometers because this is an open space that I have, ORR, but once I decided I won't go above 70, so I got even a range of 330. So the range hasn't dipped, I would say. In fact, I recently just saw this, and he has driven his Nexon EV Prime, which has the lower range than this one, above 2 lakh kilometers. And I saw an interview of him, and he said that even after this 2 lakh kilometers, his range hasn't dropped. So again, I think so you don't have to worry about the range. I think so we are just assuming the batteries of these EVs are very similar to the batteries that we have on our smartphone. That's actually not true. I'll talk about that. The battery chemistry is actually very, very different. Tata uses LFP batteries. I'll talk about that later. Okay, this is something that many of you have asked me. What about resale value? Again, I would say if you're buying an EV, keep it for a long time, at least 8 years, 10 years. I know that I'm not going to sell this EV for a long time, so I will be keeping it over 10 years. And if you take into account the fuel savings that I'm doing every year, I think so that will justify it. Also, as Mr. Jaiswal has shown that tweet, he has already crossed that 2 lakh kilometer in just 3 years. So I think so the amount of fuel savings that you will do will be very, very high. And it's early stages of this resale market, but again, still I would say any car, even if a fuel car or whatever is there, a petrol car or whatever, after 10 or 12 years, if you're selling it, what is the cost that you'll be getting? Yes, the EV might be getting slightly less, maybe a 50,000 or a lakh less, but just notice the amount of money that you would have saved in the fuel cost. So I look at it that way, I would say. Anyways, moving to the next thing, quite a few of you have asked me is about servicing and maintenance cost on these EVs. And I would say this is considerably very, very less. Average just about 3,000 to 4,000 rupees will cost. Again, the first couple of services, they didn't charge that labor cost or whatever. So I'm assuming just about 3,000 to 4,000 rupees would be the cost. And again, it is way lower than ICE vehicles because on EVs, they don't have to change the gear oil or the engine oil, or there are extra filters like oil filter. Brake pads also actually hardly get used because of regen and stuff. So again, the parts that are there way less than ICE cars. So that's why the servicing cost and the maintenance costs are actually very less. Now my free services are done, and now I think so every 6 months once we have to send it to service, and if I recall, it is 7,500 kilometers. Okay, now many of you have asked me about charging at home, and is it convenient? Yes, I actually have charged till date my Nexon EV only at home, and as I've told you, I've been using the 3.2 kilowatt charger, but mostly I'm using the 7.2 kilowatt AC charger, and it's been very, very convenient. It's like having the petrol pump in my house itself. That's how I look at it. So whenever I'm going out of the house, I have 100%, my fuel tank is sort of full. So again, I would say it's super, super convenient because I charge it at home. This is something that some of you have asked, and I just want to take it. This is a misconception. This is Vishal. He's asking, some people say never to charge it over 80% and never to let it down below 20%. How true is that? Vishal, this is not true in case of the Tata, electric vehicles, be it the Nexon, be it the Tiago, whatever, because the battery chemistry is very different. They don't use NMC batteries, but they use LFP batteries. And for a LFP battery, it is advised to actually charge it fully to 100%. And yes, you can go below 20%. I actually do go below 20%. I try to actually go below 20% before putting it on charge. But generally, I put it on charge when it's below 25%. But many times, in fact, I have charged it and I take it down to about 9-10% also before putting it charge. So with the LFP battery, this is not a problem. In fact, it is recommended to charge it up to 100%. Anyways, moving to another thing, and this is very, very important, and this is regarding the battery capacity and the charge cycles. And I would say I got some information directly because I also didn't have some answers to some of the questions that you guys were asking. So I approached the Tata team and I'm happy that they gave me the info. But let's first go over some of the questions that you guys were asking. Shitash asked, what happens to EV batteries when they reach the end of their life? Being lithium ion, their charge should be reduced, and with its range, have you experienced anything like that? No, I haven't experienced anything like that. The range of these batteries LFP is very, very high. So I haven't experienced anything like that or a degradation till now. In fact, I don't think so I'll see it next 10 years. So it's been just 1.5 years since I've been using it. No degree. This is Vivek. He's asking, what is the overall life of the battery as advertised by the manufacturer, and what point do you start to see a degradation in the battery health? Wondering how it impacts the resale value down the line. Very interesting question. Again, Vivek, the Tata, I'll tell you about the warranty what Tata is giving. They say that the battery has a warranty of 8 years, and in terms of running, they give a warranty of 160,000 kilometers on the battery. And here, I think so, here is where the confusion actually starts from people. People think that after 8 years or that 160,000 kilometers, you have to change the battery. This is just the warranty. For example, if you even look at your smartphone or anything, most are actually having a warranty of what? 1 year. But it's not like after 1 year, your smartphone goes bad and you have to change the battery or something like that. It's not like that. For example, if you take that into account, if you're buying an ICE car or whatever, let's say petrol car or whatever, most of the manufacturers these days actually give a warranty of just about 3 years, or yeah, around 3 years is what they are giving. But here on the engine, you can extend it, yes, if you pay extra to 5 years or whatever. But here, Tata is actually giving a warranty of 8 years by default. So it's actually a lot better than warranty that you're getting on ICE cars. And it's not like, the battery you have to change after that 160,000 kilometers or that 8 years. In fact, we saw that Mr. Jaiswal, he has completed over 2 lakh kilometers. In fact, I know a lot of people that have been driving the original Nexon EV Prime that have crossed 1 lakh kilometers also. And I'll tell you why. Because this is one interesting question, and this was a technical question. I had to actually get back to the Tata team to get the answer, because I searched everywhere. I didn't have an answer to this. And this is by Akash. He's asking, how many battery life cycles are there in a Nexon EV? And this is very, very important number, guys. Because and again, the answer that I got from the Tata team is that, I'll just show this to you guys, and they say the charge cycle range is 1500 to 2000 charge cycles, and Tata actually uses LFP batteries. So it is very important to know what is a charge cycle. It's not like the people have misconceptions that, for example, today, let's say my vehicle was at 100%. I drove it quite a bit. Let's say I drove it 130, 140 kilometers, and it is depleted to 50%. And now I charged it again to 100%. This is not one charge cycle. For a charge cycle, it has to be completed. So it was only a half charge cycle, that is 50%. And I would say, give you an example of myself. My driving per month is approximately between 1100 kilometers to about 1500 kilometers. This is the range that I have, and I charge my Nexon EV Max only once every in a month, total month, about 4 to 5 times. So I'm just charging that much. I don't charge it every day or every second day or third day. In fact, it's average, I would say once in 6 or 7 days that I charge it. And if you look at it, I would say, to give you an example, let's say, okay, this is you might say, Ranjit, your run is not that much, just 1100 to 1500 kilometers. So you're just charging, let's say, on the maximum side, 5 times in a month. But let's talk about slightly heavy user, because I keep reading that many people who buy EV are sort of heavy users. So let's take an example. And in fact, this is very relevant because one of our neighbors in our society was inquiring about EVs, and his run was actually quite high. He runs about 2,500 kilometers per month, and in fact he bought a Nexon EV, the new version. In fact, I have done an interview of him on my other channel, and he was so happy with that. After 2 months, he's actually saving over 25,000 rupees every month in fuel costs, for example. So let's take an example of that. Let's say you're sort of a heavy driver or something, and you actually run about 2,500 kilometers per month. That's quite a bit. And let's say the average range that you're getting on your Nexon EV, long range or whatever it is around 275 kilometers. So if we divide that 2,500 divided by that 275, approximately that will come to about 9. So in fact, that person, if you're driving about 2,500 kilometers per month, you'll be using 9 charge cycles in a month. So let's multiply it in a year. Let's say in a year, how many charge cycles it will be? That will be about 108 charge cycles. So let's now multiply it for 10 years. So 10 years also, you are just running this 2,500 kilometers every month. So it will be like 1,108 charge cycles. But the life of the battery, the charge cycles, as Tata, actually, this is information that I got from Tata, guys. This is not one. They're telling a typical LFP pack will get about 1,500 to 2,000 charge cycles. So even after that 10 years of this heavy usage, they will be just consuming what, 1,108 charge cycles. So if you take an average of about 1,800 charge cycles, that is the middle of 1,500 to 2,000, this person battery would last over 17 years, even driving 2,500 kilometers. If we just multiply the number of kilometers, I would say, if we look at it from, let's say, 1,500 charge cycle, let's even take the lower band, what Tata has suggested, from 1,500 to 2,000 charge cycles, and every charge cycle we are getting an approximately of 275. So if we multiply 275 by that 1,500 charge cycles, the battery pack would give you a number of 4,12,500 kilometers. Okay, I got this question from quite a few of you regarding the warranty and what will be the replacement cost. And this is the information that I got directly from Tata officials, as you can see from the screenshot. The first, they said that it's important to note that the warranty of your EV battery lasts for 8 years. It does not necessarily mean that the battery will need replacement immediately after the warranty period ends. Similar to other consumer electronics such as smartphones that often come with 1-year warranty yet have batteries that last much longer, EV batteries are designed to be durable and long lasting. So that's regarding the warranty. But here is the second part of the question also that I asked to them. Let's say if a person needs to replace the battery, what would be the cost? So this is what I got from Tata officials. They said, additionally, predicting the exact cost for the battery cell replacement in future is challenging due to the dynamic nature of battery prices. Historically, battery prices have decreased by 15 to 20% in last 1 year due to technological advancements and economies of scale. Thus, forecasting the cost for 6 to 8 years from now would not be accurate or fair. But the trend suggests that a continued decrease in pricing. So this is the information that I got from Tata officials regarding the battery warranty and the battery replacement cost. And again, I also asked Tata team about the best recommended charging method, and they told me, yes, you can do that DC fast charging and all those things, but it is ideally recommended to use the slow charger, and you should charge up to 100%, that full 100%. That helps. They say, there's a quote I'm reading, they say this helps balance the cells and provide a smooth performance. This is so because of multiple modules inside the pack which needs to be balanced with respect to each other. So again, this is the information I got, and I hope now you guys have a little bit more understanding about the battery life and the battery cycles that you get. It is not like a smartphone or whatever. So the range of 1500 to 2000 charge cycles, and guys, this is huge. Okay, many of you have asked me about the charging infrastructure and intercity travel. For example, I've got quite a few questions like this. The Treating Llama says, have you covered greater than 500 kilometers as a stretch with charging at EV stations in between, and how was your experience? Personally, I would say I haven't done 500 kilometers on my Nexon EV Max, to be very precise, but generally when I have work travel or whatever, I have meetings and stuff for a couple of hours. For example, I'm flying to Bombay or I'm flying to New Delhi, so I just take a morning flight and just finish that work and come back by evening. So generally, even before this Nexon, even when I had my BMW, etc., I generally don't do intercity travel. But I understand that yes, you can do intercity travel because the DC charging that we have, that is known as fast charging, you can use that when traveling. In fact, I would suggest that again, this is a free app that you guys can install on your smartphone. It's available on Android as well, if I recall, on iOS also. The name of the app is known as PlugShare. It's free, guys, and just register it and just select the car that you want so that it knows how much range that will have, and you can just select your area and it will give you an idea about the public chargers that are available in it around your area. In fact, as you can see, just about 1.5 years ago, there were hardly any chargers in this area. Now so many chargers. So there have been actually a huge number of public chargers, that is public DC fast charging, available now. I would urge you to install this PlugShare app and check it for yourself where you have. In fact, this app is actually pretty good. Let me actually show you. This is the PlugShare app around my area, and as you can see, a lot of chargers. But let's say we are traveling, we want to travel from here to, let's say, Mumbai. For example, I'll just use my current location, and here I'll just say Mumbai, and it should just pop in. So let's say central Mumbai, and I just select that and I just hit search. Now we get a route map, and if you notice, so many chargers are there en route, and you can just click on each one to get an idea. Okay, what is the charger? It's a whatever, like 30 kilowatt charger. Or so entire route, if you notice, it just gives you an idea about the chargers, what are there, and all those things, and where you can. So this is very easy. And if you notice, throughout the route, now the charging network has improved drastically in India. So you can use this PlugShare app to easily route map if you are even doing intercity travel. And last thing I get, this is again a lot of questions regarding environmental impact of EVs. I've seen a lot of hoopla about it. And yes, I agree to some of the skeptics to an extent. I would say yes, when an EV is built, its carbon footprint is a lot more, I would say, compared to a regular ICE car because of the battery pack. Though yes, Tata uses LFP batteries that does not have that harmful cobalt and stuff like that, but still yes, there is an environmental impact. But when you use an EV, as you're not burning fuel, etc., you're not adding extra, what do you say, carbon footprint. A typical EV, I would say, after driving it for about 20,000 odd kilometers and stuff, will become, that carbon footprint that it has will get nullified. And some of you will also ask and say that, yeah, you're charging your electric car with electricity that is made by coal. I would say to a certain yes, but I think so many of you guys actually do not know the stats. India now is the world's third largest producer of green clean energy, and in fact, as per the 2022-23 records, 25.44% of the electricity that we generated is from clean energy. And I think so all of us should be very happy about it. And I don't have the latest stats for 2023 to 2024, but the green energy, the share of green energy that we are having is actually constantly increasing. In fact, I would say running your EV does not add that smoke pollution and other things that the ICE cars do in our cities. And yes, of course, if you want to be really green about the charging of your EVs, you can do what I do. I charge my EV with my solar. In fact, I have solar panels. In fact, I'm very, very particular about green energy. I want I don't want to use what do you say, energy wherever I want, whatever I can do humanly possible. I would say that's the reason. Even this office that you are seeing, the entire electricity that is being consumed in this is being produced by green energy via solar panels. And in fact, I even charge my electric vehicle via solar. But again, if you're even charging it in India via normal electricity, still I would say that 25% of the electricity that is generated in India as of now is still green energy, and this percentage is increasing every year, and I'm very happy about that. So I hope guys this answers some of the myths and confusions or doubts that you have about EV. Again, regarding that public DC fast chargers, I would suggest that you go and install the PlugShare app so you can know in your area specifically what kind of public chargers are available. And I hope guys this video was helpful. Again guys, thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.